Welcome to the Smart Weight Loss Coaching Podcast. I'm Dr. Lisa Olson, a board-certified weight loss medicine specialist and certified life coach. In this podcast, I'll share fresh insights and effective techniques for incorporating mindset, habit change, and proven science into your life. Are you ready to achieve sustainable weight loss, wellness, and longevity? Then let's jump in and lose weight the smart way. Welcome back. In the summer of 2006, I was hanging out at my mom's house about an hour outside of Chicago, eating a lovely alfresco dinner with my extended family when I started to feel pain in my abdomen that progressed within minutes to be an excruciatingly sharp stabbing pain in my right lower quadrant. Putting my doctor hat on, I knew right away that very few things could cause these symptoms. Appendicitis was a possibility, but the pain came on too quickly for appendicitis, and it wasn't preceded by nausea, fever, or loss of appetite. Two other options came to mind to explain the rapid onset of severe pain in the right lower part of my abdomen. One was ovarian torsion, which is twisting of the ligaments holding the ovary in place, or it could be a kidney stone. Either way, it hit me hard and fast, and since I was pregnant at the time, I acted swiftly, telling my husband that we needed to drive to the hospital stat. It was one of the rare times, in fact, maybe the only time, when I dared to say stat to my husband. But a pregnant woman doubled over in pain gets a little leeway in these situations. I was pretty much writhing in pain the entire way to the emergency room. But when we were about a block away from the parking garage, the diagnosis became crystal clear. How did I know what it was? Because the pain abruptly disappeared, almost instantly. It was gone in a flash as quickly as it came on. That was highly suggestive of a kidney stone that passed, probably dropping from the urinary tube that connects from the kidney right into the bladder. Of course, then we were in a strange position. Now what? I remember thinking we could just go home since I felt completely fine, but it also felt a bit bananas to even consider not going into the emergency room after what had just happened. So we sat in the car in the hospital parking lot for a bit and decided that even though I knew it was probably a kidney stone and I felt completely fine, we should make sure, given that I was pregnant. So in we went, and the diagnosis was confirmed. Why am I telling you this? Because today's topic is water, how much we need to drink for optimal health, and whether or not it's useful for weight loss. If you want the super quick and dirty answer, it's drink when you're thirsty and don't sweat it if you're not. Unless you're prone to kidney stones, which is one of the rare situations when it actually helps to stay well hydrated. Of course, I'll definitely have a bit more to say about water and weight loss. But first, have you ever had a kidney stone? No? Well, then you can stop obsessing about drinking enough water. I'm just kidding. I seriously don't begrudge anyone who's hyper-focused on how many times they refill their Stanley or Yeti thermos each day, because if we follow the collective advice on social media, we're all in imminent danger of dehydration. All right, I'm going to stop being a little silly and I'll share the actual science around water, where there is a little tiny bit of good news when it comes to weight. Believe it or not, we actually don't know how much water we should drink. Obviously, we have to drink some, there's no question about that. And if we drink truly excessive amounts of water, we can harm ourselves. But there's a vast range in between the extremes of dehydration and overhydration. Most experts say we can simply drink when we're thirsty and skip it when we're not. I actually did take care of a patient with overhydration when I was a medical resident. She was a woman in her 40s who developed hyponatremia, meaning she had an extremely low amount of sodium or salt in her blood simply from drinking massive amounts of water every day. It's no joke that excessive water intake can cause seizures, brain damage, coma, and even death. But please don't worry too much because drinking the amount of water it takes to cause harm is extremely difficult to do. I feel like we'd see that more in the context of a hot dog eating contest or something bizarre like that. If you're sipping on your Stanley thermos all day long, you're fine. Anyway, back to the actual science of how much we should drink. My point is, there's an enormous amount of space between under and overconsumption of water, and most of us will be perfectly fine following our body's own cues. Your brain will signal you with thirst when you're getting a little dry, and your kidneys will just dump any extra water that you consume if you don't need it. The old saying about drinking 8-ounce glasses of water daily is not wrong. You can drink that much if you're thirsty, but it's not necessary to drink exactly that amount. Most nephrologists or kidney specialists, who are the experts on water balance, will tell you that the 8 glasses of water idea was made up and is not grounded in actual science. A few months ago, an article was published in JAMA Open Network from the Journal of the American Medical Association. Researchers out of the University of California, San Francisco did a meta-analysis, which is basically an overview of all the best research to try to determine if changing the amount of water we drink can lead to health benefits. They cast a wide net, screening almost 1,500 studies to find the best and most relevant data available. In their systematic review, they narrowed their paper to 18 randomized studies. From these, they found a benefit from drinking more water to reduce kidney stone recurrence and also for weight loss. More on weight loss in a moment. The meta-analysis found only single studies showing potential benefits related to migraine prevention, urinary tract infections, blood sugar control and diabetes, and low blood pressure. And I should note that these studies didn't reach statistical significance, so we can't draw definite conclusions from them. It's surprising, isn't it, that we have very little data suggesting that pushing water leads to better health outcomes. Even quality of life measures were not found to be better in people who were assigned to drink 1.5 liters of extra water daily. They were well hydrated, but not necessarily more content. Of course, I love my Stanley as a kidney stone prevention tool, but I know most of you are more interested to hear about weight loss and water, so let's hone in on that. But before we do, let's take a sec to hear a word from our sponsor. Just kidding, it's still me, Lisa Olson, founder of Smart Weight Loss Coaching. If you're as focused on your health as you are on the scale, you're my person. In my online program, we help you establish healthy habits for weight loss, better health, and longevity. For those of you who have looked at our website before, you'll be excited to see that you no longer have to commit to a 3-month program to join us. If you'd like to learn more about our monthly membership, head over to smartweightlosscoaching.com. And now back to the research on water and weight loss. In this meta-analysis, there was one study that didn't show any weight loss from pushing water, but a few studies did show a very modest amount of weight loss. One of these studies, published in the journal Obesity, randomized 84 people to one of 2 groups. The first group was instructed to drink 0.5 liter of water before each meal. By the way, this is a lot of water. 0.5 liter is 17 ounces, which is a little more than 2 8-ounce glasses of water. Imagine drinking more than 2 8-ounce glasses of water before breakfast, before lunch, and before dinner, plus whatever water you want during your meals or in between. The control group was simply told to imagine that their stomach was full before they ate their meals. And then the primary outcome of the study was to see if there was a change in weight after 12 weeks. Here's what they found. After 12 weeks of having a lot of extra water before each meal, the average weight loss was just over 2.5 pounds. Not bad, actually, but I'd like to know how sustainable this really is for people. Other articles have supported the finding that preloading with water before meals leads to eating less without feeling less satisfied after the meal, meaning people report normal fullness after eating when they preload with water. In a much larger study that was not part of this meta-analysis, researchers looked at over 9,500 people in the U.S. between ages 18 to 64 as part of what we call the NHANES, or National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. About 32% of participants were found to have suboptimal hydration based on concentrated urine. I hope I'm explaining that in a way that makes sense. Basically, if you're dehydrated, your urine will be darker and stronger, telling us that it hasn't been diluted with enough water. So almost a third of people had that situation. They weren't sick, they just weren't well hydrated. Then the researchers looked at BMI, or body mass index, which is a number related to our weight and height. From that, they found an association between hydration status and weight. Specifically, they found that people who were dehydrated had a higher BMI. That doesn't tell us anything about which came first, the excess weight or the lack of water, only that the two things seem to be connected. We see similar benefits to water intake in a 12-month maintenance of weight loss study. In this study, 40 participants who had previously lost about 15 pounds each in another research trial were instructed to track their weight, exercise, and their fruit and vegetable intake every day. Half of the participants were also instructed to drink 16 ounces of water 3 times a day before each meal. That's about 2 glasses before each meal, like that first study I mentioned. At the end of the year, there was a difference between the two groups, with the pre-meal water group losing just under 1.5 pounds and the control group gaining just over 2 pounds. Is that enough to make it worth pushing 2 glasses of water before each meal? Only you can answer that question for yourself. I'm not sure pushing copious amounts of water before meals would be worth it for me, but I would love to see more data about sipping on water throughout the day, which is something many of us do. Coming back to the original meta-analysis about how much water we should drink, let me quote Dr. F. Perry Wilson from the Yale School of Medicine. He said, "If I could sum up all these studies in a word, that word would be meh." I just love that. So for those of you out there who are killing yourselves trying to drink more water, my recommendation is to just let it go. On the other hand, if you're determined to squeeze every last ounce, every pound or two out of behavioral changes, like pushing 2 glasses of water before every meal, then go for it. It's an easy intervention for some people, and those people should do it for weight loss if they want to. As for the rest of us, I agree with Dr. Wilson. My opinion is meh. I didn't give you a lot for your NBA, your next best action for today, unless you land squarely in the group that loves drinking an abundance of water, or in the group that would be thrilled to stop pressuring yourself from this topic. Me, I'm just going to keep sipping from my gigantic Stanley cup and reveling in the fact that I haven't had a kidney stone since 2006. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like more support during your smart weight loss journey, check out our group coaching program at smartweightlosscoaching.com. Until next time, stay well and stay smart.